Tonight on The Edge, a toddler injured by a tombstone.
The child suffered a skull injury as the family paid respects to a loved one on Mother's Day. Fox 2's Randy Wembley joining us live with more on how the child's doing and why they're blaming the cemetery. Randy?
Hey guys, legal action is probably going to be down the road. More on that in a bit. As for this little baby, she's still here at the hospital after that gruesome injury, one her parents said should have never happened. 10-month-old Melanie McFadden is being treated at Children's Hospital after a headstone fell on top of her.
That headstone was not properly placed.
Jessica McFadden is Melanie's mom. She says it all happened at the Gethsemane Cemetery on Gratiot on Detroit's east side on Mother's Day. She and her family members were there paying respects to her grandmother, the matriarch of their family. Jessica says she set Melanie down to take a picture of her in front of her grandmother's headstone when it fell on top of the baby.
I didn't know if my baby was alive under there. I couldn't hear my baby. I couldn't see my baby. She had a huge knot and it was bleeding on the back of her head. And at that moment, my daughter started vomiting and she went out.
Melanie was rushed to the hospital. Her parents say she was diagnosed with a skull fracture.
I'm really angry, I guess you could say. Really angry that it happened to my baby. And I wasn't there to do anything about it.
It's not like lightning struck and this tombstone suddenly fell down. This tombstone was a disaster waiting to happen. The question was when?
Attorney Jonathan Marco is representing the McFadden family. He says in addition to the headstone not being properly installed, the cemetery is not being adequately maintained because of short staffing.
We have a preliminary information that because of the staffing shortages, they had to cut back on what they were able to do. But this is what happens when we cut funding and when we put a bare bones operation in our public services. They don't operate the way that they're supposed to operate.
The McFaddens say other headstones seem to have fallen over at Gethsemane as well. The city of Detroit owns the cemetery and provided a statement saying in part, the city extends its well wishes to the family and hopes for a full recovery for the child. Headstones are installed by third-party companies hired by individual families. The cemetery operator has no record of any concerns about this specific headstone being in danger of falling, nor had it fallen and been previously reset. The McFaddens say the headstone was installed about 5 years ago. They're working to find out who installed it.
Because of poor maintenance, this could have been all prevented had it been either properly placed, properly kept, whatever needs to be done, this could have been totally prevented.
Now, the city says all of this is still under investigation in partnership with the Detroit Police Department. Now, as for legal action, Attorney Jonathan Marco says they are planning on filing a lawsuit, but not just yet. They're waiting or holding off until they really get a grasp on the extent of the baby's injuries, which likely includes some measure of brain damage, unfortunately. Reporting live in Detroit, I'm Randy Wembley, and this is The Edge.
Yeah, my gosh, Randy, those tombstones, those are so heavy. It is so frightening to think about as a parent. But what about the rest of the cemetery? Did it seem like it was an isolated incident, like at one certain location, or did it seem like most of the area was in disrepair and this could have happened to somebody else?
Well, as far as what I know for now and what the family is telling me, they snapped a few pictures, which you saw there, of other headstones that have fallen some way, somehow. They're still trying to get more information from the cemetery and finding out who set not only those headstones, but the one that fell on this baby girl. So it's unclear right now how extensive this issue is at that cemetery, but it is clear that it happened, and it apparently happened with a few other headstones at the very least as well.
Well, we're all pulling for that baby tonight. Randy, thank you.